and I'm a foodie. Today we're going to do Cornish Hens au Sazon. The first thing you want to do is take your roasting pan. Now I'm using an enameled cast iron pan, and I really like these pans because they get real hot and they keep the heat. And you want to turn your oven on to 350, put your timer on for about an hour, stick it in the oven and get it nice and hot. So now what I wanted to do before we actually make this, I wanted to talk about the spice mixture that I use. This is called Sazon Supremus. Now, you can find a lot of different varieties of this spice mixture at your local supermarket. If you have a Mexican or Hispanic market, they're sure to have it. However, you got to read the label, because out of all of these, this is the only one that did not contain MSG. And I don't know about you, but I don't want MSG in my food. So maybe you're living in an area where you don't have one of those supermarkets and you can't find that spice mixture. No worries. Here's a recipe for it, okay? And this will be posted in the comments so you can easily make it yourself. And what you're going to do is use a tablespoon of ground coriander, ground cumin, paprika. Now, also you could use achiote instead of paprika, but if you can't get achiote, paprika is fine. Garlic powder, salt, 2 tablespoons of oregano, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, ground celery seed, ground rosemary, dried parsley, and fresh ground pepper. Okay, so that's the recipe to make this seasoning yourself. Now, you're not going to find it anywhere else on the web because I read the label and I changed the recipes that were up and available on the web to include all the spices that are in this spice mixture here. Now, if you live in the LA area, Sazon Supremus is available on the meat counter at any Vallarta supermarket. So now we're going to wait for our pan to heat up, and then I'm going to teach you how to spatchcock a Cornish hen. Okay, now I want to give you guys a lesson on spatchcocking. Now, I know that's a really goofy word, and a lot of you guys probably come up with some pretty damn good jokes about it. But spatchcocking can be used with any poultry. Cornish hens, chicken, even turkey. You can do this with any of them. And what it does is it gives you a nice crispy skin, moist inside, and it cuts your cooking time down. So here's how you do it. First thing you want to do is get a really good pair of kitchen shears. I like these. These are OXO Good Grips. They come right apart for easy cleaning, and they're tough. Okay, and here's the birds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the bird over, and then I'm going to cut right there along the backbone. And I'm going to cut the backbone right out. That's one's first one, and then this one, same thing. Usually I get these out in one piece. This one wants to be a little stubborn. Okay, now that you got the backbones out, don't throw them away. What I do is I have a bag over here where I have saved all of mine, and then they go in the freezer and I use them for soup. Okay, now we're going to flip the birds back over. The first thing you want to do is splay out the thighs like that. Then take the wings and tuck them under, like so. Okay. And that basically is spatchcocking. Now, I'm going to get them ready to be roasted. Always wash your hands after handling any kind of poultry. Poultry is notorious for this, spreading germs and whatnot. Okay, the first thing we want to do with these is we want to take some vegetable oil and we're just going to pour a little bit over it. The only purpose of this vegetable oil is to get your seasoning to stick to the skin of the Cornish hens. And it's okay if you just put a little bit too much on there, it'll just all drain out. Then I'm going to take my seasoning mix and I'm going to spread it over the birds. Now, as soon as our pan is hot, I'll be putting these in skin side down into that nice hot pan, and then we're going to throw them in the oven for about a half an hour, and then we're going to flip them. Okay, so the pan is nice and hot, so I'm going to pull it out of the oven. Let's give it a little bit of oil so the birds won't stick to it. And I'm going to take the birds out of the sink, flip them onto their skin, right onto the hot pan, like so. And while they're cooking, before we put them back in the oven, I want to pour a little more oil on top. You guessed it, some seasoning. Okay, now they're going to go into the oven for about half an hour before we check them. 350. And I'll see you to flip them 30 minutes. Okay, so now it's been a half an hour and we're going to flip the chicken. Game hens, whatever. At this point, I just like to put a little bit more of the seasoning mixture over the top. What happens, if you notice, is we get a sauce in here that we can pour over the game hens after they're done, and it's pretty delicious. So back in the oven they go, and now we're going to let them cook for another 15 minutes. Or until my handy dandy digital thermometer says 165, 170, and then we're good to go. See you in 15. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes, and there they are. I did the temperature on them and they're done. So now I'm going to plate one. And let me get some of that delicious sauce over the top. That stuff is real good. there you have it. Cornish hens al Sazon. Okay, so I hope you try this recipe. It's really easy and it's always delicious. Manja. Look at how juicy that is. Oh boy. See you next time.